Hey everyone, it's Dennis from Cinevate, here after a long absence. We're back here to show you a little bit about probably the most significant project that Cinevate's been working on for the last year, and that is Hedron. So what is it? It is a slider. It's our new slider that kind of takes about 5 or 6 years worth of customer feedback, engineering, expertise on our part, and kind of rolls it into a new professional slider product that's very, very smooth, very silent, and extraordinarily versatile. So what we have basically, aside from extraordinarily stiff and smooth, is a car, which has a brake that's now easily the most effective brake design. It works very much like disc brakes on your car. If you take your car apart, you're grabbing a disc on both sides. We're doing exactly this with our brake. It's a pretty cool design. So if you were to take this apart, you might be really surprised on what goes into just something as simple as a brake. But the big thing is that it locks anywhere. It's not really designed to be used as a drag brake. We've actually incorporated that into something we call inertial dampening. And you'll want to check out the clip on the inertial dampening, call it the flywheel, for a little more information. But what you have though is a slider that has virtually zero resistance to movement in this form. And it's very, very quiet. So pretty much at your typical slider speed, it's not going to be detectable even at a meter away. It's very, very quiet. We've taken our all-terrain leg design and improved on it, so it's infinitely adjustable. We'll just lock this out of the way. And you can see if I just have a small difference to deal with, I can bring this in and drop the leg down, and you can see it pretty much adjusts anywhere, and you can snug it up, and it will take a ton of weight. We've also sort of enabled index points. So if I bring this over and drop it down, you can see that they all sort of index for instant leveling. And as always, we have our non-marking micro adjustable feet that you can unscrew for just that tiniest bit of adjustment if you don't want to adjust the leg. Just part of our sort of overall consideration of every little detail is how do the legs compact for travel, say. So I'll show you very quickly. We're just going to basically take them off, and you'll see, basically you can see I'm going to kind of fold one over and fold one in. And in this position, one kip is actually, when you fold the leg in, there's a spot we put in the leg for the kip to go in. And you can actually put the other kip right here. So you've got both kips and you have the legs locked in this position, and which just makes it very compact for putting into the bag, which we thought is very important. So that's basically the all-terrain legs in their stored position. One of the first questions we get on pretty much every slider is how much can it carry? This slider can take a ton of weight, but one of the big questions is, if I put 200 pounds on this, actually how much does it flex? So we've sort of changed how we describe weight. And really the proper way to describe a slider would be to say, well, if I put 50 pounds right in the middle, how much deflection do I see? With 75 pounds or even 100 pounds on this slider, you're gonna see almost zero measurable deflection here. Because of the design of the extrusion, you can see we've put quite a cross section. You might wonder why it looks like it does, but we've done this for rigidity. So it's kind of like the beam that you would put in a house. This is designed along the same I-beam principle. So it's very, very stiff. One of the many considerations that we need to make these days for sliders is to give you, the shooter, as many options to mount both on top and underneath and support this thing. So we've got a lot of machined holes you'll see all over the place here that give you a lot of options for, say, mounting tripod plates. So first of all, what do you put on top? And on top of the unit, you'll see we have, you know, the good old 3/8 threaded stud, which is pretty much universal for tripod and ball heads. You do have some of the obvious options. So you can take a small ball head. If you've got a small DSLR and you want to do something quick, that's obviously going to be the simplest way to get a camera on there. And we have our trusty old 5/16 here head that's really great for heavy loads. So once you have it threaded on, and those of you who've done this for a while will know the dreaded, oh, I've got my head stuck on here and I can't twist it off because even with the pan lock really tight, it's still slipping when I try to take it off. So what we've done is basically made it really easy to deal with that, which is simple. You basically reach through with an Allen key from the machined hole that we have underneath for that purpose, and you unscrew the actual 3/8 stud. Therefore, your head will not be stuck ever again. So you can actually back it right out if you need to and release this thing if it happens to get, somebody gets a little overzealous and puts it on too tight. One of the other things that we've come up with is just our simple, we call it our Spud Adapter. So this is a piece that has a couple 3/8 holes machined into it that would fit onto the top of a C-stand. And we've machined in mount points underneath where you can basically attach these on either end and go ahead and put your C-stands on there. Of course, if you just want to put a tripod plate, you're going to do that right in the middle here. We have machined holes to accept those. And if you do want to put a tripod plate on the end to say go vertical, then you can do that too. So you're going to twist your tripod plate around and mount it right here or here. So we've kind of machined a lot of features in to make it easy to mount on C-stands. My favorite, by the way, is just taking a ball, like this 100mm ball on Dromos, and firing it into the bottom and dropping that right on your stick. So you've got a center mount with one ball only, and you eliminate the tripod head and the flex from the tripod head. The other thing, if you happen to have a head with a 100mm ball, our Dromos will just attach either via the 3/8 stud, or we've provided, like I said, in the final version, 2 extra holes. You can actually bolt this in with 2 1/4-20 bolts so it doesn't twist. And then you can go ahead and put your, we'll just take this ball off, and you'll see, essentially I've got a 100mm bolt sitting there, and I can drop my head onto that. And with Dromos allowing us to go 90 degrees as well, say in this orientation, I can actually change this bowl position so that instead of being in this plane, I'm over here. So basically, if I want to go vertical and I happen to have a 100mm ball head, I'm going to have an issue because the moment that I go vertical, my tripod head's pointing in the wrong direction. Well, Dromos lets us address that. So basically, I can take the bowl from this position, I can turn Dromos like this in a vertical orientation and move the bowl over here, and suddenly I have everything pointing in the right direction, and I can put my 100mm ball head right on the slider. So Dromos is going to be a really indispensable tool for somebody who wants all those mount options for vertical and horizontal mounting. So basically in its 36 or 3-foot length, we're talking just under 10 pounds. So for a slider that can take potentially and easily 100 pounds, you're dealing with about 10. And it's all aluminum, anodized in stainless fasteners throughout. Why? Because we know people use them in saltwater environments. So it's not going to rust, and there's nothing to corrode. Anything that could corrode is either stainless or fully anodized. So you're talking, again, about 9.8 pounds to be exact in 3-foot length. And there'll be a 2-foot option and a 4 and a 5. There you have it, Hedron. Pretty much as simple as you need a slider to be, or as crazy complicated, modular, to do just about any shot imaginable that you also want it to be. So I think we've really made a product designed to pretty much make any shot that's in your head doable, and that's Hedron.